it going.
Sure. So a lot has been happening recently, and it's all about the leadership in Parliament. What are your observations so far about how the leadership in Parliament is being guided, and things that are working around Parliament for them to be able to pick a Speaker of Parliament?
You see, over years, Parliament has been losing its independence. It has been gradual, but what I see now is there has been a complete takeover of the institution by the executive. And so you don't even have the latitude anymore to choose a speaker. The speaker is chosen for them. Previously, they would hide around the caucus, hide around SEC, hide under what. This time round, no, there is no hiding. It's straightforward. This is the speaker, the CDF wants, and that is it. Who are you to talk? So Parliament has been completely taken out by the executive.
They have been trying to hide, but now they are coming. We see
where
does the CDF come from? And to exert pressure from your point of view, because it seems to be the one.
Because we are going through a transition from President Museveni to the CDF, and the CDF is realigning institutions. First of all, to know that he is in charge. Yeah, he is in charge, and then also to suit the next dispensation, because transiting from President Museveni to General Muhoozi will require some adjustments in the laws, in the constitution, in who leads where, and so all those things we are seeing them as they happen. I am one person who believes that this transition is actually rolled out officially now, and whatever we see now is as planned. Is as planned. It's not really like happening by chance. It's not like that, like there's going to be a retreat at some point. No, it is being rolled out as planned already. And it's just a matter of time, but the active engagement of the CDF simply means he has more power to exercise now over institutions and over political actors. Ideally, the CDF would not be engaging in matters that are political, but he's very active politically.
Actually, in that, what we see now is some kind of anti-corruption crusade, where the CDF under his PLU or pressure force first endorsed Anita Among, and then a deputy, a Speaker of Parliament and deputy. But then later they kind of withdraw their endorsement and then bring both of both. But before we know it, Tayebwa is brought back, but Anita is left out.
Yeah, so it is naivety of the highest order to think that this is an anti-corruption crusade. It is not. Because if PLU is leading an anti-corruption crusade, by now Honorable Mawanda would have been hanged by the PLU itself. Isn't he the chairman of the PLU? Didn't they find sacks? We saw videos of bags and bags of money. By now, the Honorable Sise, the one who was shaking hands with the president and the president had forgiven. By now, she would also be, somewhere. But they are all in the PNU and they are very comfortable. So it cannot be an anti-corruption crusade. I think that the Honorable Anita Among, corruption allegations and all other things notwithstanding, and the primary reason why that is happening to her is because she crossed the red line. And there is a pattern for all Ugandans who cross the political influence line. And the moment they do that, they are either totally downgraded who really, incarcerated. Dr. Besigye, with a very astute political record, threatened the power base of this region. As we talk now, he has been incarcerated without due process for close to 2 years. The Right Honorable Prime Minister then, Mama Mbabazi, crossed the red line. You know how he was humiliated. The super minister was brought down on his knees. The Right Honorable Kadaga crossed that red line. In terms of influence, she was becoming one of the most influential Ugandans at that time. She also defied the instructions to drop out of the speakership race. And you know how they brought her down completely. She was pleading to remain in SEC, and it was done there. So when I look at the Honorable Anita Among, what she did, the way she handled the presidential campaign, the power that she was wielding, and the assumption that she was shielded, I think these people must have assessed and said, if this lady is left alone to exercise that influence, you can tell me any county in Uganda which does not understand or know the Honorable Anita Among. A few days back, as she went for swearing, you could see that the people were being sworn in were really, applauding her. So it seems to me that, and I am confident about this, it is the red line. So I have given you a parallel. People who have crossed that red line, threatened the power base, and how they have ended. It is exactly how Anita Among has ended, for crossing that. In fact, for her, it's even worse, because it would be deemed that she was an interruption to the transition process. If it was still President Museveni continuing as it were, I think the certainty of him working with her, calling her to order, pampering her, loving her, and sending her to do some of the things that she's now being accused of, making bad laws and stuff like that. I think if it was without the transition element, maybe she should remain free. Let me give you another parallel, which I had already hinted on. There are people in this country who have a record for amassing wealth, and who have even been accused, produced before court, or at least on parliamentary reports. You remember the allegations against the Honorable Sam Kutesa. You remember the issues of junk helicopters. Anita only got a Rolls Royce. Other people
Helicopters.
Other people even got helicopters. You remember, I told you about the chairman of PLU himself, the Honorable Mawanda. You remember Sisi, and so many. The ghost soldiers. There is so much rot in this country, and they are all walking free. So it begs the question: what has Anita stolen that others have not stolen? If she stole money, others have stolen money before. If she stole cars, others have stolen helicopters and choppers before. So that takes you to the conclusion that I'm giving you. The only problem now is they are using that, whatever excesses, whatever is in their findings, as skeletons to decapitate her. And that's why I sort of pity Uganda who are thinking that the crusade against corruption will end. This regime is oiled by corruption. Oiled, O-I-L-E-D. If you remove corruption, this government will collapse. Simple. How do you think that they got all the money they were distributing during the campaign? Did they print it, or was it from the government coffers? I have heard that there was a time a certain lady from the NRM, was it a treasurer or something, I'm not sure. She had sacks of money, sacks. So this is still money, but the others are working free. So that is my own analysis of the situation. I think that it should inform those who are going to replace Anita in that office. I see that my brother, or both, who is a distinguished and respected personality, is already being congratulated for becoming the speaker. I hope he's having a reflection that the very hands that pulled Anita and propelled her to that level, the very hands that are picking him, I think he's walking straight into a guillotine. I see him heading straight into a guillotine. Unless before he takes oath, he leaves his brain at home. He just drops his brain and says, I'm not going with the brain, I'm cutting off my head, then I am going there to become like a stooge or something. That is the only time he will succeed. Otherwise, he will follow the footsteps of his predecessors. And there is a pattern. There is a pattern.
Okay. This word is not about being an artist or what, but Anita and Tayeba were working together.
Yes.
In some of the cases that we've seen from the parliamentary exhibitions, each of them got generators worth 200 million plus.
Yes.
And then we see PLU endorse Tayeba back, and
Yes.
Anita is left there. What is that this specifically inform you and the rest of us?
Yeah, because this is not a fight against corruption, I said.
Yes.
I think that the endorsement of Right Honorable Tayeba really gives credence to what I have just said. Because if they go into analyzing all those details they are looking for, there will be so many people. By the way, including the police who are picking exhibits, I don't think those monies are all reaching where they're supposed to be. So, but it also speaks to that thing I said of the transition element, because maybe the Honorable Tayeba's influence is not as much as that one of Honorable Anita to threaten the red line. So Honorable Tayeba will stay. By the standards of the PLU, he is not a threat, he is a friend, he will provide advancement. I have no clue at what point the Honorable Anita stepped on that line. But it looks like it is something that may have been assessed during the campaign. And because her influence during the campaign was enormous, her influence among the old and the newly elected members is also very enormous. And I suspect that their own thinking was, you leave this woman to contest again, whether you've told her to stop or not, she will win this election. And if she wins, how influential will she be? And how much weight will she be against or for this transition arrangement? I suspect that is why Honorable Anita is being decapitated. But I would pray that, which is risky to them, I would pray that they follow due process and let her go and explain her behavior in court. Because I can tell you, taking Honorable Anita to court will drag some of those things that we have been watching in the public. it will take them to the doorstep of State House. So I highly doubt that they can take the risk of...
So taking her to court will expose them more?
Even the ones who are arresting her.
Interesting. After the arrest of the Honorable Anita, we've seen a number of those people who were so close to her. I mean, before this incident, especially immediately after the elections, we saw her being endorsed by almost all the newly elected MPs. They had her photos on their profiles, and they used to talk about that. But from the time she got into this trouble, some people, majority of her supporters have removed even the profile, her photos from their profiles. They are not speaking. I think you should be among the few leaders, especially from Teso, to speak now about Anita. What does this mean? Is it something new?
Yeah, because NRM is like a cult following. It's like a cult following. When the Honorable Kadaga was still speaker, people were saying this is the right woman. She is good. The moment the system spoke against her, people coiled back. They coiled back and left her to face it alone. Anita made sense to many of those leaders because of the office. They were not her friends. They loved her office. They loved her generosity. So when you see people hiding away, it's because as a cult following, the leadership at the supreme level has now discarded Anita. And for them, they will switch their allegiance to the next person that is endorsed by the leadership of. They behave like a cult, really. They behave like a cult. So it is not about merit, it's not about choices, it's not about anything. And I speak freely because, one, I differ from the analysis people are making. This is not a corruption crusade. I don't think that the regime is getting to know now, like yesterday, that Anita bought a car AA1. AA1 was driving around this town. Nobody said anything. So they are not getting to know those things. Just yesterday. No. That is why I am strong on the fact that I stop on the red light. Secondly, I am strong on that because there are so many corrupt individuals out there who are not being prosecuted. And thirdly, we want a free and a fair process. Any Ugandan, any leader who is accused of anything, I am glad she says she's cooperating with the investigation. If you are accused of anything, cooperate with the investigation like she's doing, and then prosecute her. Let her be taken to court. I can't wait to hear the other side of this story, because I'm sure it's a very interesting side also.
Okay. What is your observation about her conduct as Speaker of Parliament of the 11th Parliament?
She behaved like a victim. She behaved like a victim because she was a victim of the state, the powers that put her there. And when they put you there and they tell you pass this law, you can't run away. You pass it. And that's exactly what is going to happen to Honorable OBOTH. He is already a victim even before he takes oath. That is what happened to Honorable Kadaga. She was a victim. You saw the age limits going. You saw what are those people? These ones who invade Parliament when Parliament is discussed.
The guys from
PGBs, the elite brigades. They didn't start invading Parliament with Anita. They started invading Parliament with the times of Honorable Kadaga, lifting of the age limits, and then you come to, I think it was oil laws, and then you come to now sovereignty, whatever. All those guys are victims of the system they are serving. Unfortunately, this system behaves like communism of the olden days. They said communism devoured its own. It doesn't matter how much of your very best and blind loyalty you give to them. When they choose to discard you, when they choose to go after your neck, they will go using the very things they made you to do. I wish Ugandans understood that. I think the appreciation of this situation will be like mine. But
yes. Well, I Anita being a victim or whatever, but also there are times that she could talk utterances in Parliament. Were those also part of what?
Yes, because she thought they were protecting her. She thought she was the supreme authority in this small institution, being protected by the head of the cult, the head of the organization, the NRA. Because before that, was she talking like that? If you know her.
I don't know.
I know her. I know her. I know how she joined politics. I know how she moved on from the FDC to the NRM when she was denied the flag from the FDC, and then she became independent. And I know how they embraced her and started moving her, propelling her. She was not that arrogant. She was not that bold. She was not anything, but she was very passionate. She was full of energy. And so I think they saw this and said, this is the type of person we want. She will bulldoze any situation. Let's push her through Parliament. Let her bulldoze things. So that's where she gained the courage to talk the way she talked. She had their protection.
Okay. What is your general overview of Parliament, leave alone these other things? Their performance, legislation, okay, accountability, you could have said something already. Legislation.
No, Parliament, like any other institution of government now, in a semi-autocratic regime, like the one we have, can never be for the people. Period. Anything that's happening in Uganda now will have to serve the interests of the powers that be in order to sustain them in power. So forget about parliamentary independence, judicial independence, separation of powers. Forget, they can't obtain in this situation the power of the people. Which people have power? These sick Ugandans who have no medicines, how can they have power? They have no power. They wait to be given 2,000 shillings or 1,000 in my village, and they vote for the system. They are going through severe deprivation. By the statistics of the Uganda government itself, like 57% of them are multidimensionally poor. Their health indicators, their education indicators, their food indicators, all those things are not adding up. So, which power to the people? Which people?
Ugandans.
And then this parliament, where this parliament, the other parliament, and whatever, where they determine who wins against the will of the people. If it is not a bold win, if it is not a beaten into win, very few MPs go to that parliament because people voted them. So, you ask me to assess. You can only assess them in terms of, are they doing the will of the executive? Because now, even before, and it's going to be worse in the future, they have been an appendage of the executive. The next parliament is going to be like an MDA or a branch, a ministry under the executive. You wait.
Well, so far Mao has expressed interest and appears to be really knowing what he's doing and a bit confident as such. Do you think he has chances? And
Well,
if he makes it anyway, would he make some difference in that parliament?
but how can he have a chance?
He's talking to the big man.
I think the chance Mao has is the chance to talk. The chance to talk, just mention his aspirations, and Mao is a great orator. That is the chance he has. But in terms of the chance to become a speaker, I doubt. I have told you, if it is in terms of this transition that we are going through, Mao is not a core actor. PLU is the core actor, because the transition from President Museveni to General Muhoozi. So in that transition, General Muhoozi has already defined and presented with this team who the speaker is. So what source of backing? Where is Mao drawing his strength from?
They have a cooperation agreement that saw him a minister of justice.
Yeah.
And he believes that in the cooperation agreement there is still more discussions, and one of them, I think, in their Article 7 or something of their cooperation agreement, there's a room to amend to have more power, something like that. And you can see he was invited to Chankwanzi, and is going to present in the NRM caucus tomorrow. Don't you see that as something
that is the freedom I told you, the power to express himself. That's the freedom to express himself. He's going to present his oratory in Chakwanzi. He did it before, and yes, so that is what it is. I know that the caucus plays by directives, and the moment the directive has come, I told you that we are aware that in a period less than a week, the Honorable Anita Among was the celebrity among those very members of parliament. Some of them carrying her handbags, some of them staying in her home. A member of parliament staying in the speaker's house. The following day, they are saying you are the worst, they have forgotten you. It is because they don't have the latitude to think and make independent decisions. Once it is decided for them, they toe the line. So Honorable Mao, I think, is making his presence felt, using the opportunity to remind the president about the cooperation, and I suppose asking without saying that where are you deploying me? That's what I think.
Well, I know you belong to the other side of leadership, who they call opposition. We've seen the National Unity Platform present a candidate for speakership race, and they called on the other parties within the opposition to see how to front this and maybe identify a deputy speaker. At this point, with all that we see and heard and know, do you think something maybe can happen? Or
no, nothing can happen, but it's very good for NUP to present an alternative, because NUP is the leading opposition party, and it must present an alternative. And in presenting that alternative, we support them. We have what we call 1+1. We have a member of parliament who is officially ANT, and then we have an independent who has ANT. So we will tell them, please support the NUP position, because it's our position. We are in the opposition. But let me tell you the gymnastics of that day. If you are lucky, there will be additional nominations on top of for both honorable.
But the NRM has not yet made their position.
That is okay. It will be made. It will even be made even if it is 1 hour to it will be made. So if you are lucky, there will be people who have the courage to make those nominations too. I remember during the election of Honorable Olanya, most of the supporters of Honorable Rebecca Kadaga turned out to have a positive COVID result because this is Uganda.
So now they are likely to be quarantined for Ebola.
So I just know that it happened because I remember people like the Honorable Susan Amero were supporting Honorable Kadaga. And the requirements for them to go to Kololo was that they should first of all have a COVID test. All the people who had been earmarked as problematic, more than half of them, their results were positive for COVID, so they did not show up in Kololo. So I think there will be interesting gymnastics that day to watch. That is one. Two, in terms of numbers. In terms of numbers, we in the opposition are already overwhelmed. Yeah, because with the 372, is it?
Yeah.
For NRM, and then for us, put together with other political parties, we probably don't even reach 150. And then also in those political parties, you have political parties that are said to be cooperating, the good opposition. So the good opposition may most likely go with their benefactor. And before you know, I think that the Honorable Mwero Paul might get around 70 or 80 votes if we all, all our members vote for him. So that means he will automatically not become the Speaker of the House. But the beauty is that as Uganda goes through whatever it will be going through, it will be said the opposition did not sit back. The opposition gave a credible alternative. Yeah.
Great. As we wind up, there's been some, I don't know whether I call it pressure, but some views that now that Anita, who has been the chairperson of the parliament, has lost that, and yet she's been elected and sworn in as a member of parliament for Bukedea. It makes her look very small going to that parliament as an ordinary member of parliament. So the best for her would just be to maybe say, I'm done with the issues of legislation, let me just do other things.
No, that is wrong. She will not be the only person who will be in that house when they are not speaker. There's already a precedent. The president is the Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga herself. She went for that election in Kololo. She was humiliated, and she remained the member of parliament for Kamuli district. She has served Kamuli for the last 5 years, and the people of Kamuli, interestingly, have voted for her again. Nobody knows whether the president is going to keep her as minister, but her people have voted for her. So there is nothing wrong with being it's just a mindset change. It's a mindset change to say, okay, I mean, since I am no longer speaker, the right place to be, sit in the rows there, and if there are issues to do with Bukedea, you raise them. You just have to change your mindset. I also think that leaders should be that flexible. They should be that flexible to know that leadership, especially political leadership, is something about a position, and a position goes away. The challenge we have is that we don't have a role model who has changed the power. Transition. For the last 6 or 7 terms, we've seen President Museveni handing over to President Museveni. So people are beginning to think that the position of a president is owned by a person called General Yoweri Museveni. But if the president had handed over to Alice Alaso, for instance, that means people would begin to know that it is normal to occupy a position and move to another, or even get out completely. So my thinking is that it is okay if she can stay as a member of parliament, she should stay, and then have the humility enough. What do you need in parliament? You only need to say, Mr. Speaker, sir, I am here to present. That is all the decorum you need in parliament. It's not like you're going to, do what, to dance for somebody. No. So I think it is okay for her if she stays.
Okay. Finally, you were a member of parliament for 3 terms, say?
Yes.
And they introduced the parliamentary circle when you were still a member. One of the issues that is under probe right now is how that money is being used. We saw some in the exhibition of parliament, about 4 billion shillings withdrawn from the circle within about 8 hours in a day. The issue of accountability is being asked on how that money is managed. So just needed to hear from you, how was it? How was that parliamentary circle? How was it planned? And when is the money supposed to be accessed, and by who, and procedures? And for members of parliament who are no longer there, are they members? Are they still saving? And if they save, do they have the right to borrow like any other? Please.
The parliamentary circle, it was not really like anybody introduced it. I remember that members themselves, was it in the 8th parliament, sat and said, let's begin saving our money. And then instead of going to the banks to borrow, we lend among ourselves and we get some interest, save our money, and then also have it when the need arises. So that's how the parliamentary circle was started. And it is a member-owned circle. We do annual general meetings. We get audited accounts. We collect our resources, our savings. Of course, the active savers are now those that are in parliament because they have a steady monthly income. But then those of us who are out, we still pick 50,000, drop it there, and then, you save the money. And you borrow at an interest. So we are happy to lend money to borrowers who are active, especially those that are still in parliament, because we lend against their savings, and the circle lends against their savings. The circle also lends against their salary. So if somebody comes and the circle looks at how good your financial standing is, they will lend you money, and you pay at a good interest, and we members will be happy to share the proceeds at the end of the year. Yes, so, but the other matters, how this or how that, I would have no clue. I think that the management of the circle would know, but that's the standard procedure in which the circle is run.
Thank you very much, Honorable Alaso Alice Ashanut, for your time. But as we wind up, is all lost for Ugandans to expect better service delivery, autonomy in the arms of government, and the pro-people government, if I may say?
I think the Bible says, meanwhile, these 3 remain. You have faith, you have love, you have hope. And if people ever decide to get hopeless, they will be most pitiful of all creatures on earth. So we keep hope alive that someday our country will be a better country. It will be run by values-based leaders, people who have the country at heart. Because right now, somebody used to say the dogs had come to the country, then others say the country had gone to the dogs. So you don't even know what is going on in this country, whether in terms of governance, in terms of whatever. You know, when I listen to these things of the speaker, I keep thinking, I wish I could get one of them, like Jesus said, who has clean hands to throw the first stone. I would be very happy to know who that person is in government. Because even Mabati thieves, can you imagine, with all the thousands of Mabatis that were stolen in this country, it's only Agnes Nandu who is now serving the sentence. What happened to the other thieves? Because those Mabatis were taken, including by people in cabinet, all of them, and nobody is being prosecuted. So I have a problem with the way the country is moving. It is selective prosecution. It is rewards for impunity. As long as you serve the interests of the powers that be, you are okay and you are safe. So it's all lost. Thinking through this transition, one, Ugandans must pray. Ugandans must pray. Because there is a real possibility of dark days ahead, in the sense that even the little freedoms we have in a country where people are being taken to land bankages in the basement, I think the high-handedness could make life very, very difficult for all of us in the days ahead. So Ugandans must pray, Ugandans must advocate, and those who can speak up should still have the courage to speak up.
Is there anything you find good in this country in terms of leadership? Anything?
Leadership? That's a scary one. I think the fact that there are people there, out there, there are still some elements of good leaders in this country, but they don't have a platform to exercise it. So people, some of them are inside the NRM, but they don't have opportunity. They are a minority, they cannot be heard. The system is such that if ever you speak or express ambition, you are dead meat. Some of them are outside, but they are incapacitated. And then the majority of Ugandans are simply watching, wondering what is happening. They are lost. They have no clue how to proceed. So yes, leadership in this country has become a very mixed bag, and we hope that we'll begin to cultivate real, genuine leadership as we go along. The remaining challenge is the context. We keep having hope that we had, I don't know whether it is now in past tense, that time would sort out this matter. But right now, looks like time is introducing even more complicated dynamics. And that leaves us with God. Ugandans, God is the answer to our dilemma. Thank you.
Amen. I'll say that, amen. Thank you.
Amen.